I didn't understand at first why the priority merger was kind of such a big deal in Satisfactory for the 1.1 update coming on June 10th, but I did get to play around with it a little bit more today, and I think I found it especially useful for whenever you have uneven load balancing. Um, we'll explain it all here. I'll walk you through exactly how I'm going to use it and a different way that I can use it. But first, let's just talk a little bit about what the priority merger is and how to get it. So you unlock this by going through the quartz research tree. That starts off with 10 raw quartz to get the first step, then another 20 raw quartz to unlock quartz crystal, which will then unlock the ability to get to crystal oscillators, which requires 50 reinforced iron plates and 100 quartz crystal, and then you can unlock the priority merger with 100 reinforced plates and 15 crystal oscillators. Once you have it unlocked, each one takes 2 reinforced plates, 1 modular frame, and 1 crystal oscillator to actually place down. So, not exactly real early game stuff, but not all that complicated either. So the basic idea on how I like to use this is basically to balance out your uneven load balancers. You could do this with the regular merger, but I'll get into why this might be helpful a little bit later. But effectively, you're just going to make sure that you use everything that's already fed in first before you bring in any new items. Now, most importantly, where you're going to place this at is it's always going to be the very first line in from wherever your main resources are going to. Then it will feed a line out to your first splitter, which then splits into your next 2, and so on. So I thought I'd start by just showing like your standard 4-way split, which is completely even, and really the merger isn't going to be all that useful here. But we have these 4 constructors set up for steel screw recipes. We're going to be feeding these in equally into each part, and then it'll feed into this awesome sink, so we just get rid of the waste and deposit that for points. So yeah, this is getting fed in just like any other load balance setup here. All 4 machines are getting fed evenly, and everything's fine. No real need for the priority merger here. What the priority merger is going to be useful for, though, is if you only need 3 machines, or an odd number of machines, and you can't evenly divide up the load. But now let's just get rid of that 4th machine, and we'll feed this into there. Oh, you know what? This isn't really showing my point here, so let's get rid of the... There we go. Alright, so now you can see all 3 are being balanced evenly. The one that's going to the far left splitter is just getting fed back around into the priority merger, and we've set the left input to high, so that anything new coming in is going to have to wait if there's a backup. Now that's useful if you have like a production line down the road that's also using some of these steel beams, and you want to conserve you want to make sure your resources are being used efficiently. You can make sure that sure that like this one will get backed up until everything's used and it needs new stuff coming in. So that's your basic setup for the load balance there. But I think we can stack it. Alright, so we set up the same machines we have over there, only we're just using 3, and we're going to copy this merger down here. I guess I'll place that. That's going to be the input, of course, for our main thing. Let's set the priority. I think I'm going to leave them the same. Let's go ahead and get our mergers stacked up here. Let me see here. Okay, this... no, because I can't... this is going to take some trial and error, so give me just a moment. Okay, that was an ordeal, but I think we got it working here. There is one small problem that I'll get to in a second, but for right now I just wanted to show exactly what's happening here. So basically we are feeding in from the very top, the priority merger on the top. That's our input line. We have a lift on the left of the priority merger that's going to feed to the bottom, our priority merger down there at the very bottom. This one on the bottom will split on the left and the right. The left here, as you can see, goes up to the second from the top, and then the right goes up to the second from the top, the left goes up to the second splitter there. And then we will be feeding in from the from a curved line into there. Won't perfectly line up, but runs the brakes, I guess. Okay, so I think I can show things off a little bit better from this angle here. Basically, like I said, you can see it's going to feed in from the bottom one. We're going to actually make the priority on the left-hand side because see here, I guess it's that middle one is actually only feeding into one machine, whereas the second from the bottom merger there, just feeding into that lift, that's actually going to be feeding two machines. So yeah, we were originally, when I did this, when I copied it over from before, it was giving the priority to the extra stuff that was coming from the two machine fed. And you always want to have the priority coming from the the odd man out, your single machine. Let me see here. I think, oh yeah, that's right. I think I got a little confused here, thinking that it hadn't worked, but really just an issue of timing here. We'll pump it back up and give it a second, and there we go. See, evens out. So yeah, that's basically it. You can kind of scale this up from there, but more or less that is how you use the priority merger to balance your loads. Well, thanks for checking out my channel, Efficient-ish. I'm Chris, and I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and check out some of my other videos on the channel. Thanks very much, and I look forward to update 1.1 tomorrow.